Some game series don't even die loud, they just kind of disappear. One minute they feel important, they got their own style, their own fan base, their own whole lane. And then years go by and you're sitting there like, bro, how did nobody bring this back? And when I say disappeared, I don't always mean nobody remembers them. Some of these vanish completely. Some changed so much that the version I loved is basically gone, and some just had a certain era that I still think about way more than I should. So today I want to talk about game series I still cannot believe disappeared, not just because they were fun, but because they had way too much personality to just be gone like this. Let's talk about it. First up, we got The Darkness. It's one of those PS3, Xbox 360 era games that I randomly think about because it had such an incredible vibe that you really don't see anymore. It was part crime story, part comic book horror, part supernatural shooter, and somehow it just worked. You weren't just some regular dude with guns, right? You had these demon powers, these monster arms coming out of you, this dark mafia story. It gave the whole game this edgy comic book feeling that fit the era perfectly. It was dark, it was violent, kind of grimy. That's what made it stand out so much. The reason I still think about The Darkness is because it didn't feel like every other shooter. It had personality. It had a main character with actual baggage. It had crazy horror elements. It had style. It felt like somebody took a comic book, a mafia movie, and a supernatural action game and just smashed them all together. And it made a masterpiece out of that. And then after The Darkness 2 in 2012, it just kind of disappeared. There was like no big comeback, no third game, no modern revival. Nothing. And that's so frustrating because this is exactly the type of series that could work today. If somebody gave it a proper comeback, not everything needs to be a giant open world live service thing. Sometimes you just need a dark, stylish, story-driven action game with a strong identity. And you know me, I love my mafia stuff, so this is right up my alley. Next up, we got Earthworm Jim, bro, man. And it's one of those games where I look back and I think, who even thought of this? And I mean that in the best way possible. You got a worm in a super suit, weird enemies, goofy animation, strange levels. This was peak 90s weird cartoon energy. I still think about this game because games used to be allowed to be weird in like ways that felt very fearless. Earthworm Jim wasn't trying to be safe. It had personality from the second you looked at it. Even if you never played it, you could see one screenshot of it and know it had its own identity. And that's the thing I miss. Not every game needs to be grounded. Not every game needs to explain itself. Sometimes I just want something colorful, strange, funny, and just different. Earthworm Jim was that. And then like the style of the game basically disappeared. You don't really see many games now that feel like a Saturday morning cartoon that got turned into a chaotic platformer. That's why Earthworm Jim sticks with me. It wasn't just a game series. It represents a type of creativity that feels like it got left behind. I remember playing this way back in the day on my Super Nintendo and stuff and just playing it for hours and hours and hours. And the music and the sound effects for it just still hit so good, man. I really wish they would bring this series back. I would love a platform revival for this game. It would be amazing. Next up, we got F-Zero. It's one of those Nintendo series that still blows my mind because it feels like it should be way bigger than it is. This was Nintendo's futuristic racing series. Crazy speed, wild tracks, hover machines, and Captain Falcon before most people even knew him outside of Smash. And the reason I still think about it is because Nintendo really doesn't have another game that feels this exact lane. Mario Kart is fun, right? But F-Zero had that intensity. It was faster, more aggressive, futuristic. It had a way cooler edge than people give it credit for, and I'd rather play this than Mario Kart any day. My thing is, how is Captain Falcon still this recognizable? The music still hits, the cars, but the actual series just sits there. Like, it doesn't do anything. It makes no sense to me. And yeah, I know what you're going to say. Well, they made F-Zero 99, blah, blah. It happened, right? But that's super cool. But it's not a full comeback. I want an actual, modern, real F-Zero game with crazy visuals, insane tracks, that whole GameCube cube GX energy turned all the way up to 11, bro. That's why it frustrates me so bad, because Nintendo has the character, it has the history, the fan demand, the style. I mean, everything's just sitting there ready to be like, hey, we're gonna make this game. And they just don't bring it back. I don't know if they're just kind of teasing F-Zero fans or like what's going on, but it's so irritating when you have all the pieces to bring something amazing back and they just refuse to do it. I don't know what the problem is, but it's insane to me. Army Men, man. I'm not for sure how many of y'all remember this, but when I was a kid, I loved playing with the Army Men little toys. I'd set them up all over the place and, you know, shoot them with like slingshots or BB guns or whatever I had. And then they had a game based on the Army Men, right? It was like green versus tan, and they had like these fun little stories on there, and you had all these games, and I mean, it was amazing. It was like an army game, but you're playing with Army Men. It was like basically you can play with Army Men that you had in real life, but now they're in a game with an actual story. So it was like taking your toys, putting them into a video game, and then like playing with them. And I thought that was so amazing. I mean, this game was so fun. It really shows the age on these games. Like, it's a very old game series, and you can definitely tell it when you play it, but it's so charming in the best way possible. And somehow it's just super, super fun. And I still think about this series all the time. I'm not for sure if it's because I missed playing with Army Men, or maybe I just missed the games or whatever. I mean, I definitely missed the games. And, you know, with how much we've evolved as far as like hardware goes, they can make an amazing modern Army Men game, and I just don't know why they don't. It would be absolutely amazing, man. And that's what annoys me, because a modern Army Men game could be so fun if they leaned into the scale. Little soldiers fighting across giant real world environments. I mean, that idea would still work, man. Please bring this series back. I loved it so much. Next up, we got one of my personal top 3 favorite series of all time, Mega Man X. And it wasn't just a regular Mega Man game, right? It wasn't just regular Mega Man with a different look. X had a whole different energy. I mean, it was faster, it was darker, it was cooler, the armor upgrades were amazing. The music went absolutely insane. It had that anime sci-fi edge that made it feel different from classic Mega Man. And I think about this game all the time because Mega Man X felt like Mega Man grew up a little bit. You had wall jumping, dashing, hidden upgrades, Mavericks. And don't even get me started on Zero pulling up looking like the coolest dude in the room. His entrance in that intro stage is still one of the best things in gaming history. Just watch. And that music though, bro, it's so good. Classic Mega Man is iconic. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm not talking about OG Mega Man. I'm talking about something more amazing. Mega Man X had a different flavor. It had that swagger. It felt more intense, more stylish, more like an action anime you could play. And I wish they would bring an X series anime, but somewhere along the way, that specific version of Mega Man just kind of disappeared. And Mega Man X had the collections and stuff like that in respect, but where's the actual new Mega Man X game at, man? Where's the modern fast-paced 2D action game with armor upgrades, boss fights, that Super Nintendo energy, bro? And that's what frustrates me more than anything. Capcom has one of the easiest comeback wins, just sitting there. And they're like, nah, you know, we're good. And I mean, I know Mega Man Legends fans, I feel for y'all. But man, you had 8 X games with a turn-based kind of RPG with like X Command mission. And y'all just said, nah, we're good. Like, we made like 9 games, and then, you know, I'm not gonna count the handheld games, but y'all just like, no, we're good. We're not gonna, you know, release anything else. Like, come on, bro. Like, give us another Mega Man X game, you douchebags. You complete Capcom douchebags. Next up, we got Crackdown. It's one of those Xbox series, man, that had such a simple idea, but it worked so well. Like, you were basically this super powered agent running around an open city, jumping across buildings, collecting agility orbs, getting stronger, throwing cars, taking down gangs. And I still think about Crackdown every now and then because the gameplay loop was just addictive. I mean, you start off normal, then you're slowly jumping higher, moving faster, getting stronger, stronger. Before you know it, you're climbing skyscrapers just to grab one more orb. My thing with Crackdown is this series didn't really lose itself by changing too much. It kind of had the opposite problem. It didn't evolve enough. The idea was there. The blueprint was there. Xbox just never turned it into the giant franchise it could have been. And that's pretty frustrating for me because Crackdown should have became one of Xbox's biggest games, a superhero open world power fantasy before that became common. But instead the series came back late. It didn't really hit the way it needed to, and then it just felt like everybody moved on. Crackdown just didn't really evolve enough and kind of got left behind, but still one of my most cherished game series that I still enjoy thinking about and playing from time to time. Next up, we got Tony Hawk's Underground series. I'm not talking about Tony Hawk as a whole. I'm specifically talking about the Underground series because that version of Tony Hawk hit so different. It wasn't just skating levels and chasing high scores. I mean, this had a whole story mode where you made your own skater, you worked your way up from nobody to pro. And man, I love Underground because it captured that early 2000s skate culture feeling so well that somehow it just feels lost in today. The music, the attitude, the custom skater stuff, the freedom, the dumb chaos behind everything. It felt like a game literally from that era in the best way possible. My opinion is Underground's the best Tony Hawk series ever, and it's where Tony Hawk became more personal. Pro Skater is legendary, no doubt, but Underground made you feel like you were in the world. It wasn't just like beat the level, move on, beat the level. I mean, it was this is your skater, your story, your rise up, right? But that specific version disappeared. Yeah, Tony Hawk got remakes and those are cool, but where's the Underground style game? Where's the story-driven skate game with that same attitude and creativity? That's what bugs me because Underground had a lane that still feels different from everything else. I don't just miss Tony Hawk games, I miss the version of Tony Hawk. Underground was absolutely amazing. And I know Tony Hawk said he wants to do the Underground series remakes, and I hope he does. But I would love an Underground 3, I'm just saying. Next up, we got Twisted Metal as one of those PlayStation series that I still cannot believe got left behind. I mean, this was car combat with insane characters, dark humor, weaponized vehicles, explosions everywhere, and Sweet Tooth being one of the most recognizable PlayStation characters from that era. The reason I still think about it is because Twisted Metal had an identity, man. It wasn't just cars shooting each other. It had this weird, violent, twisted personality. Every driver felt like they had something major wrong with them. Every vehicle had its own style. The whole thing felt like arcade chaos with a horror carnival, man. My thing is PlayStation used to have more weird edge like this, and Twisted Metal felt dangerous in a way. It felt like one of those games your parents would look at and be like, what the hell are you playing, dude? And that made it way more cool, man. But then combat as a whole basically disappeared, and Twisted Metal went from being one of PlayStation's recognizable franchises to something most people just talk about from the past. Because the series still has a hook. Give it a modern online player, crazy arenas, better destruction, keep that dark personality, it could still work. I kind of was hoping they were going to try to bring the series back with the TV series. Did really well. I watched the first season, didn't see the second one though yet, but I enjoyed it. It was fun. I was hoping that would kind of revive the series a little bit. I've not heard anything, so I'm not sure. Next up, we got Midnight Club. Man, and that's a racing series I still think about because Rockstar had a whole different type of racing game on their hands. This wasn't clean track racing. This was street racing through real cities, traffic everywhere, night vibes, customization, and the music, bro. The music, amazing. And that underground energy, the reason it sticks with me is because Midnight Club had attitude. It felt cool. It felt fast. It felt like you were actually part of this illegal street racing world instead of just picking a car and doing laps. Midnight Club 3 especially had that swagger, bro. The cars, the customization on it, the city, the vibe, the music, just everything about it. That game felt like an entire era alone. Had that early 2000s energy all over it, man. And then Rockstar just kind of let it disappear, and that's crazy to me because they clearly know how to build worlds. They clearly know how to make driving feel good. They clearly know how to sell style. Midnight Club feels like one of those franchises that could still be so huge today if Rockstar actually wanted to bring it back. But instead, just sitting there while fans keep asking, where is Midnight Club at? I don't know why we can't get another one. Now we got Dragon Ball Z Raging Blast. Now, Dragon Ball games obviously did not disappear. Let's be clear on that one real quick. But the Raging Blast series, that specific PS3 and 360 era of Dragon Ball, that's what I still think about. Raging Blast felt like the HD evolution of that Budokai Tenkaichi style DBZ fighting game. The transformations, the beam struggles, flying around, knocking people through boulders, it gave that same anime fight fantasy in the best way. Now we have Sparking Zero, yes. But honestly, man, the way the gameplay plays, Raging Blast just did it so much better. We had Raging Blast 1 and 2 for the PS3 360, right? And I thought the movesets for that game was way better. The customization was better. I mean, everything was amazing. And the character roster was pretty decent, to be honest. If you know me, you know I'm the biggest Dragon Ball Z fan in the world. But I would love a Raging Blast 3. I know we're getting Xenoverse 3, and I know that, you know, we had Sparking Zero and Dragon Ball Fighters and stuff. But I can't help but just think about Raging Blast 3 because it felt like my favorite series of Budokai and Budokai Tenkaichi was just kind of like evolved, and it was the Raging Blast series. And I still love Xenoverse and Fighters and Sparking Zero and everything, but I do miss Raging Blast, and I still play this game every few weeks because it's so good and I just love playing it. So please eventually give us a Raging Blast 3. I would love that, but I don't think we're gonna get that. But a Raging Blast 3 would be amazing. These are 10 game series that I still think about and miss and cannot believe disappeared. If you guys would like to see more of my content and more retro gaming and first time playthroughs, you guys can hit the like button, subscribe, and please, or you can click on the video on your screen to watch more Phoenix amazing videos. Until then, peace.